the enterprise structure that is mandatory for our, from a sales department point of view, and certain optional entries that we have as well, and the relevant assignments that we require with the company code, and also certain details related to the plant and all. We have seen plant is also part of, like, say, I would mainly say it is from a logistic point of view, but we have seen, like, how the plant would be created. But in the real time, the plant maintenance and the plant creation is mainly part of the that will be doing it in the logistics center. It's not mainly part of the, let's say, the SD code. So today we will see, like, along with plant, there is another organizational unit which is kind of and mandatory, like, in order for you to do, like, for your delivery creation and all. So we will see what is that particular organizational unit, basically, like, that we need. I'll just log into the system. We have just high levelly, we have actually seen it. Just give me a minute. I don't know, something, I think it's my system that is very slow today. Okay, just give me a minute. I'm just using some. Okay, so I'll go to the SBRO, like, how we have when we do for an enterprise structure. Just go into the IMG menu. Let's get on here with our enterprise structure definition, and just go here into your logistics execution. Then you have here define, copy, delete, check shipping point. So what is a shipping point? Shipping point is also one of the organizational unit, from which you're actually, like, your shipping process takes place. So let's say it can be your nearest port to your plant where your manufacturing thing happen, or it can be nearest place where you actually do your, where you actually start your delivery process is known as shipping point. And in SAP, it is mandatory to have at least one shipping point representing, for one plant. So the prerequisite, like, whenever you wanted to do a delivery and all, there has to be at least one shipping point that needs to be assigned to a plant. There can be multiple shipping points based on, based on from where you actually start your shipping process. Shipping point is nothing but it's a point, let's say, it near to the plant. It's actually, where you do your manufacturing, but it is outside the plant where you start actually your delivering process. Like, they'll be like, they will start maybe the nearest port, they will mention it as, the shipping point from where they start their actual, goods, let's say the goods delivery process would start. Or maybe there is a truck area where, there is an area where from your plant you take your goods to a particular area outside your plant from where you start your shipping process. Or it can be a nearest railway station. So it can be anything. In SAP we represent it as a shipping point. Shipping point is basically nothing but a point from which you start your shipping process. Okay, and in SAP it is mandatory to have at least one shipping point that is assigned to the plant. So we can define our own shipping points here. I have actually defined maybe for two shipping points based on, every plan that I have. Like, we can define our shipping points. If you want to define your shipping points on your own, go to new entries or copy from existing, that is 1000, or, in your system. Here it is not there. I think someone has changed it, but, let's see. Or you can just copy and create from whatever it is existing, or you can also create on your own. So when you copy and create, or you create on your own in the shipping point, so whenever I go to a new entry, so here again shipping point, the code of a shipping point is a 4-character. Okay, this is a 4-character, that you enter the code of it, and again you can give a description of that particular shipping point. Okay, you give a description of that particular shipping point. Then again, you have, let's say, let me just enter it. Okay, then you will have this country and all will get automatically filled. I will tell you from where it gets filled. Then you define your factory calendar. It's again the same, the factory calendar that we spoke about. Then here, every shipping point again, it's basically like, the working times and all, which is kind of not, let's say, mandatory that we will have. I'll just explain you what will be kind of mandatory, because we'll again talk about shipping point when we come to the topic. But let me open my shipping point that I have. Okay, I'll just open one of the shipping point that we have. So here it's basically like, based on your address details that you maintain here, this country and all will get filled automatically. So we'll just talk about it. So the shipping point is again a 4-character. Then you will give a description of that. Then if in case, let's say your shipping point also has some factory calendar, you will be maintaining it. But basically, like, might be it would be the same factory calendar that we maintain for your plant. Yeah, because it will be almost in the similar way. But if in case there is a separate factory calendar, then you can assign your separate factory calendar as well, for your shipping point that would be there. Then this working times and all, it would be managed separately. You don't need to worry at the moment. I'll just explain, we will just see it a bit later. Then you have, let's say, once you see this time, then you have actually here determination of time. So determination of times here. So basically, here we represent your, whenever we are creating it, so there will be something called a pick pack time and a loading time. Basically, these fields will be helpful. This pick pack time and the loading time will be helpful. Okay, whenever you wanted to, confirm your delivery dates to a particular customer. For example, what happens, this will have an influence whatever we maintain. If in case you have a loading time and the pick pack time that would be maintained, so there will be, maybe I would just say, I'll select here as default loading time. Then it will give me this another option, and I'll maintain pick pack time also as my, let's say, a default from shipping point. So what happens here when you say default from shipping point, whenever you give this option, so what system does is, whenever you're creating an outbound delivery, whenever there is a delivery that would be created to a particular customer, let's say from your sales, from your order, you're creating a delivery to this customer of a particular material. So these dates representing for you, mainly saying that, okay, boss, in order for any material to pick and to pack, it would take me some 1 day. So which means system will take apart to, whenever it will take, in SAP, what happens whenever you create a sales order, so system will automatically, give you, let's say, on which days it would be, by when the product would be delivered to the customer. So whenever system will give that instant reply, like, whenever, by when the product would be available. Because, in ERP system, what happens, the best part of the ERP system is, like, let's say, like, now you have these all so many different modules that are integrated with each other, right? So you have SD, you have MM, you have PP, like, the different modules that we talk. So here mainly what happens for us is, like, in order to confirm for example, there is an order that is placed to me. And I'm not sure, I'm from the sales guy. I don't deal with the shipping process. I don't know whether the product is available or if it's not available. If it's not available, then should it will it be produced or will it be procured? Or if in case if it's procured or produced, if in case of a stock non-availability, how much time does it take? If you for a procurement, how much time that is take, if they produce it? Then the quality checks, then the delivery, then how much time will it take, once you receive the goods, to pick it, to pack it, to load it, and again to send it to the customer using some transportation. So there are so many activities that would be happening. And during the order creation, system will give you an instant date by when it would be delivered to the customer, like, by when it can be delivered to the customer, considering all the different processes that is there. So in order for system to calculate, we will be discussing how it gets determined, how those process and all. But I'm just giving you a brief idea about how SAP, the moment you place an order, how SAP would calculate everything, going to different tables of different departments and seeing different details, and it will give you the confirmation date instantly. Let's say you don't need to wait for all these different process. So the moment you create a sales order, you will know, okay, this is the delivery date that you will be giving to the customer. So for you, the answer would get instantly in a minute, for the user. But in order for that to achieve, you have so many different departments that are involved in the back end. They're working. There's so many different tables from which the data would be fetched, and it would be shown in your sales order as the confirmed quantity and all. So basically, we will see, when we create an order, we will see all that particular process. But here we are mainly talking about, whenever you wanted to confirm those particular process that we have. So here maybe there are some products which would take some time to do a picking and packing, because maybe your picking strategy or a packing strategy at your shipping point and or at your warehouse is in such a way that you only do the picking or the packing only, maybe the end of the day for certain materials, or there can be any multiple strategies that they would be working. So how much time does it take for you to pick and to pack on that particular work day for you will be maintained here. Same way, determine loading time. So how much time will it take for you to load those goods? So to confirm the quantities, then it would additionally take these 2 days. Okay, it will take 1 day to pick and pack, another day to load. So totally, to my whenever the system is confirming the delivery dates, it will add these 2 dates, and it will propose a date when the goods would be delivered to the customer. Okay, so pack dates and the loading dates. So this is an activity that would be done by the a shipping point, that they maintain this pick, pack, and the loading dates that would be there. Okay, so this is how you define your shipping points that you will have here. So you maintain some you can enter how much loading time will it take. You'll enter how much picking time that would be taken for here. And yeah, then you have something called, okay, rounding work days. Means here it's again this is kind of some safety margin, you will be for some estimated time that you would be requiring, you can just maintain here, like you know uh, let's say overall it's 2 days, but you may need overall maybe you wanted to round off it to some 3 days, saying that to be on the safer side, might be if it takes more time to pick, pack, or to load, you will give some overall. We may, instead of maintaining separately, you'll say, okay, overall we'll give some 2 days to do all these particular activities in the shipping point, or 1 day. So like that, you can maintain something called a rounding work days that would be there. Okay, then you have here form text. This is again similar to what we have discussed earlier. This is mainly that some text determination that we will have. We will maintain some text IDs here, and that would be used from during our printout or something. If you have some separate text for our let's say shipping point that needs to be printed, then we will use this something called form text. Similarly, print packing list is again, here there are some output. This is for the print messages that you will have. So basically, this fields will mainly control here the output type. If you wanted to print something for the shipping points, okay, you need to let's say you need to take maybe some instructions that you would like to give it to them, the way they need to pick, the way they need to pack. So you define some output type. We'll discuss about output types and all in detail. And this output type is mainly for the picking list, how they have to pick, what is the strategy they have to use. It's mainly for the people who are doing this picking. So you define something called a default picking list that would be there. We can maintain it here. And for this shipping point, that picking list will be taken as the would be printed, and that would be used by the users, like the employees who are working there, to check the different like the pick list information that we will have. But anyway, we will just see that pick list and all, and the output determination and all in later. As of now, just understand here, whatever you assign would be a default one for this particular point, but it's not mandatory for you to have this information here. You can also control it to a through a different way, but this is by default for the shipping point. If you want to maintain, we'll maintain it here. Okay. Okay, then here you have something called background processing display information. Selecting this display information, what will happen if you check this box, then if in case there are some errors during the delivery, during the delivery creation for the shipping point, or anything that you will have, there will be kind of a error message due list that gets generated. So whenever you check this, then you are saying that if in case there are some errors, you show all, you collect all those errors, and those errors needs to be displayed. So in case of some background processing that is happening in the system, so you wanted to display all the errors of where there was some issue with some shipping point or issue with the deliveries. Those error messages in the deliveries should be displayed based on this checkbox. If you checkbox this, then those error messages you could see whenever you process from the background. Like after the background processing is done, background processing is nothing but like let's say, like you wanted to create your deliveries, everything manually, but in real time what happens, users will not do it. It will be actually system. We will set up something called jobs, background jobs, and we will have some parameters, and based on some orders and everything, those deliveries would be automatically created in the background. And during that time, if there are some errors, you're saying that, okay, show me a particular log which all the errors that is there. So this display info would help us in order to find those errors. And again guys, just one small tip. Let's say I'm explaining these these what does this fields do and all. There may be some fields, like uh, going forward and all, we may not be discussing, let's say, each and every field that would be there. So might be like there might be some one or two fields we would say, okay, which are not much relevant. We would say, okay, this is not much relevant for us, so you don't need to we don't need to deep dive or need to discuss here, because that is not something that you would be requiring at this point of time. But during your practice and all, you decided, okay, no, you would like to know more about a particular field. You would like to know more about from or that, than what we are explaining here. You wanted to see more of what a particular field. Then what you do is, like you just click on that particular, let's say, that you want to know more, then press F1. Okay, if you press F1, then what system does is, system will give a particular information about that particular key. Like what does that particular now I said, like it will be some log that will be processed. So SAP will also give you a message about what does that particular field does. So in I would say, in most, like at least in many of the fields, you will find information. There will be one or two fields where you will not be able to find information, but in many of the fields, at least I would suggest initially, when you guys are doing it, because you'll have some time to do it, so you can actually open some fields and you can actually read through it at least once, just to understand from whatever we discussed. But still, you wanted to understand more about it, you could just say, just read through it. Okay, here you have the output type is predefined at your area on SAP. Okay, if alternatively choose, like you can list them by pressing F4. Okay, that's okay. Output type can be specified with a print form that needs for an internal use, like or a customer. It can be anything. As I mentioned, it's basically I wanted to use for my let's say, for my instructions to the people at my location. But if you want to know any field more, right, just select that field and press F1. Then you can actually read through it in detail. Okay, that is just that I wanted to let you know, guys, you can also do that if you want. If you'd like to know more about certain fields or certain fields that we don't, we don't concentrate much, you can also do it this way. Okay. All right. So I will just go. I'll just create a new shipping point by copying this, maybe something called TS3. I created a shipping point. I will just maintain the address, which country, title, and everything that you want. You just maintain this. Click OK. Then if you want to have this pick pack and loading time, maintain it, then you will have this, once you maintain, okay, TS3, sorry. Maybe I would have copied some two ones. 1 second. Okay, TS3 is already created. Okay, I'll go to this TS2. I'll maintain some C, maybe factory calendar. As of now, I'll maintain something called a default factory calendar. I'll maintain some, I would need 1 day to load, but 2 days to pick and pack my goods. Then I'll save my shipping point. That is that. Once you save your shipping, once you save your shipping point, then go back, go to your assignment. Now you had also defined your plant and all. Now you assign your shipping point to your plant. So go to your logistics in assignment, SPRO, instead of definition, go in the assignment. In the assignment, go to logistics execution. In the logistics execution, click on this assign shipping points for plant. Okay, select this. Now you will get like this shipping point and plan that you would be getting here. Now what you do is, first you need to look for your plant. I don't know what is my plant. Yesterday we had created many plants, right? Let me just check. I had TEP1 and TEP2 only. Okay, I didn't create a new plant, I guess, but I created a now just a shipping point. Sorry, transportation planning point and all. It would be coming with an additional, as I mentioned, we have an additional SDA modules, guys, transportation planning, but they're all actually separate modules that we have. In that case, I created TS3 as of now. Okay, TS3. Then I'll just go to here, assign shipping points. I just wanted to make a note of TS3. Select TP2. Okay, let's say this is my particular plant. Whenever you can actually search for your plant here, but there will be so many entries that would be there because it's a demo system. So what you do is, first look for your plant where now there's a plant and a shipping point. So there is a plant, under plant there are shipping points that would be assigned. So in one plant they can have multiple shipping points, but minimum that you require is at least one shipping point per plant that would be required. So for that I'm just using this find option to search for my plant. Let's say TP2 or TP1 is my plant. I'll select this particular plant that is here. As of now, there are so many shipping points that are assigned here. There are many shipping points that are assigned here. Now I have created a new shipping point called TE blah blah. What is that? TS2. TS3 have created now. You select this plant and click on assign. Okay, select your plant and click on assign. This some incorrect it is there. I don't know why. Analyze error. Okay, there are some plants that are deleted. This is some demo system. Someone would have deleted them. Let me just delete them. Or I will have to create them on my own. Okay, forget. These are all someone else issue. I don't want to spend more time on this. We'll come back. We'll just see our own setting and we'll just go. And also, like, because I am like, whatever is your data, please only play with those data. Don't try to touch anything that is that is not your data. As well, don't try to delete many of the things that are there, because for me, I could again recreate it. This is a system that I have it, but in your demo systems as well, please don't delete anything that is standard. That's kind of very important, that you don't delete anything that is standard. And as well, like, don't try to touch any data that is not yours again, because there will be many people that would be working, so it would be sometimes tough. That's okay. I think I only locked it. /o. I will teach all these transaction codes a bit later. SM12. I'll press enter and delete them. Go back, click on assign shipping points. TP1 or TP2. I'll select our shipping point, that is our plant that is there. Here there are so many things, because we copied and create. I think there are so many things that are not correct. I'll just okay, let me just here there are some errors, but okay, forget about them. Select your plant, click on this assign. When you click on this assign, you will get your shipping point pop-up. So the newly created shipping point that we will have is TP3, that would be there. TS3, sorry, TS3 is your shipping point that would be there. Select your shipping point and click OK. Okay, so then this shipping point TS3 will get assigned to your plant called TP1. There are so many, because we copied from the standard. You have so many shipping points that are there, but here you can see the plant and the shipping point, the TP1 and TS3 gets assigned here. So basically what you'll have to do is, like, let's say, 1 second, let me just save it. Oh, it's not saved. Okay, you click on this assign shipping point, that would be there, assign shipping points to plant, then search for your plant, then click on assign, then you will get that pop-up. Okay, you search for your plant that is there, TP1 or TP2, select your plant. Okay, then click on this assign button that you have here, then you will get all the list of shipping points that are not assigned. So select your TP1 or TS1 or TS2, whatever that shipping point that you created, select it and click OK. Okay, then that shipping point gets assigned to your plant. So so in one plant, it is mandatory to have at least one shipping point that is defined from where you do the delivery. So this is mainly about the shipping point to plant assignment that you would have. Okay, then we have something called in the sales and distribution, we have something called common distribution channels and common divisions, but okay, I think I will talk about it when we get the error. Okay, clear so far on the enterprise structure that is required. So on the enterprise structure, you will be requiring a company code to be defined, a sales organization, distribution channel and division, a shipping point from a logistics point of view, shipping point and a plan that you need to define. Then again in the plan there will be a storage location. If you copy and create, the storage locations also get copied. If in case you wanted to define your different storage locations that are there, then go to the logistics general here, go to the material management here. In definition you have maintain storage location here, so click on this maintain storage location, give the plan details, maybe TP1 is my plan. Then here inside you can define, now there are, I copied so everything is coming, but if you want to create your own, click on new entry or copy and everything, then you just enter the details of your storage location. TP1 where I store my all my engine, or maybe some tires, one location where I store my tires, there is another location in my plant I store my engine, there's another location I store my, depends upon how many ever you wanted to create. Then you just click on this maintain storage location. You can also maintain, if in case an address of a storage location, let's say if that particular in what happens in certain real time scenarios, you will have some location near your plant. Let's say it would be you will be defining in a particular plant, but physically they are located just outside your plant. Some location, maybe some goods that you cannot store in a plant, you need a huge place, so you will just store it near to some plant. Okay, but you can define it, the storage location inside your plant as well. Might be the address would be different, because your the way the plant address and the storage location address might be different in some business scenario. So considering if such scenario exists, SAP has also given an option to maintain address for a particular shipping point, for a particular storage location as well. You can maintain some number and you can maintain some some address details if in case your plant address is different from your storage location address. Clear, guys? So if you have such thing, then you can maintain it. But yeah, if no such scenario, it's all the options that are provided by SAP. It's up to in most of the business scenarios, how it happens is what we would be discussing mainly on the real time that we do. But there is an option for you if in case they say that, okay, I wanted to maintain a separate address, I have another storage location which is nearby, maybe the client has such requirements, you could also configure in such a way, assign it to a particular plant, but might be maintain a separate address as well, for that particular storage location that would be there. Clear? Okay, so then we have, apart from this, there is something called transportation planning point and all, that would be that we need in terms of whenever we have something called a transportation topic that comes into picture. But that's not mainly that we would be discussing here. It's mainly from an LE, from an sales order and a delivery point of view, we will be covering at the moment. So so we will not worry at this point of time, but I'll give you a brief idea as well when we come to a topic like on the transportation planning point. But this is mainly required, there is another it's again like an optional module that we have, something called a transportation management. But if you want to use some LE transportation management, then we will be using this these points, but not important at this point of time. But I'll also give you an a brief overview, and also how do we configure this in the later point of time once we cover our basic topic that would be there. Okay, clear, right?
Yeah, clear.
Okay,
Yeah,
then
Dinesh,
once you
one thing.
define it, yes please.
We are talking about picking up date and shipping date, right? How many days we will take?
Picking, packing, and loading date.
Yeah. Picking, packing. We mentioned one day for picking and 1 day for shipping,
Loading.
right?
Loading.
Yeah, but
Loading.
when
It's not shipping.
But when we are working in real, we don't know how many days we will take to load and shipping. So
It's
at the time,
there will be
we are taking 1 day. Yeah.
this is a day that will be in general accurate, right? Whenever we are working, so basically there will be something called a working schedule and everything that gets defined here. So it's not mandatory to maintain it here. If you maintain it let's say by default you would take some 2 days more, like whenever you wanted to propose to a customer, so you say
Yeah.
okay, for picking and packing it would take 1 day. Yeah, and for loading it would take 1 day. Maybe by default whatever you maintain you would be maintaining, but in the real time, like
Yeah.
like there will be a due list, like for using some output and all that would be coming, for people to load, saying that okay, both these are all the items that you need to pick first, these are all the items that you need to first pack and deliver it. So there will be
Yeah.
kind of a planning also that would be done, or like the work schedule. So mainly where we mainly use there, something called an APO or an at the moment there's something called an IBP where we plan all our work schedules, but the main planning happens here. But here it's mainly like from a planning point of view, they would say okay, this is a minimum time that would take. So this is the time that we would require in generally, like if you give us this much time we will be able to load it, we will be able to pick pack and all. They will be maintaining okay, we would need 2 days to pick pack. So whenever you confirm to a customer, just always mention okay, there will be an additional 2 days to do a pick pack, and an additional 1 day to load it. Only afterwards you give your delivery date to the customer, not before that. So
Yeah.
whatever you
Okay.
maintain here, it is for the confirmation. You're saying okay, this is a minimum time that we would require in order for you to confirm to the customer by when the by when the goods could be delivered from our side. So you don't need to confirm, I mean we cannot confirm anything before that. So that is a value that we maintain there. But again there are some other things that would be coming, where we could take in, but this would be taken minimum to be considered, to be delivered to the customer. I would say whatever you maintain here. So what they would say is okay, we would need at least minimum of 2 days to pick pack, 1 day to pick, 1 day to pack, and one day to load is what we
Yeah.
would get in information. That is what we will
Got
maintain there.
it. Okay.
Okay. Okay. uh, all right, so this is about the enterprise structure that you would require here. And again, because we finished with our enterprise structure, the basic enterprise structure that we have. And just would like to also tell you, because now in the enterprise structure as of now we were defining something called a factory calendars, right? So for the factory calendars, whenever you wanted to set up some factory calendars, again we will talk about in detail, but as of now if you want to set up your own factory calendar, what to do is, again in the SPRO menu, just above enterprise structure you have something called an SAP NetWeaver, right? So just open this particular SAP NetWeaver. Here you will have something called a general settings. In general settings you will have something called maintain calendar. So this is where you can maintain your own calendar. So you can maintain okay, it's a factory calendar or a public holiday or a holiday calendar, whatever you want. You will be saying maybe for you need something called a factory calendar. You click on this change, you can create your own factory calendar that would be there, maybe some ZZ or something. So here before you define your factory calendar, you have something called a holiday calendar and all that is there. If you want to define your own holidays, like everyone will have their own holidays, right? So you can also maintain your public holidays, your holiday calendar as well, saying that which are all the dates whenever where all we have holiday. For example, I'll just see if you have some calendar for India. It's all by default. Just okay, it's not defined, but we can also define our anything on our own. So we just let's say we will create our public holiday, like every company will have its own holidays that would be there. So we could just, let's say, select or create a holiday calendar that would be there. Just create a new one. Maybe I'll just try to take which is existing, something, I just double click on here. So here you can create any calendar ID that would be there. You'll maintain your company or your plant or your or your shipping point, whatever is the calendar holiday for them, you will maintain it and you'll say valid, and you will give which are all the dates that you know the public holiday falls into, a Christmas day or a Easter day and everything. So whenever you wanted to create something new, just go here, new. You will maintain some calendar ID. Let's say just simply I'm just taking something. You just assign, press enter. This is mainly a public holiday. Then you click on assign. So you can assign the holidays that are already created. Okay, again, to create your own holidays, for example, I wanted a holiday for August 15th. Okay, then you need to define your holidays in the first step that would be there. Maybe I'll say public holidays. I'll say edit, and I would say maybe I'll just define some 2 days. I would say holiday with a fixed date, or let's say a fixed date from date. So you'll have multiple, or a floating holiday, or Easter Sunday, whatever I'll say it's a fixed date that I will have, because let's say August 15th is always holiday for me. 15th of month 08, a holiday, and the day is not guaranteed. It can be on any other day that you will have. Just press enter. 15th, you enter some short text of it saying that India I would just maintain something called India Independence Day. Okay, there is already at least one holiday with the same rule. Do you want to say, okay, I'll save my public holiday, I don't care it. So you create your own public holiday here. I think I created sets India Independence Day, right? Okay, there is something called Independence Day, there is something called Diwali, there is something called Good Friday, floating, like, you can have multiple Gandhi Jayantis. Someone has already defined all this. Okay, that is good. So you can define your own let's say holidays, the public holidays that is there. But again, this would come from our something called another department. We don't need to maintain it in the real time, but just for you to understand, like, the factory, the public holidays and all, sometimes there is a module called an HR who could create it. There are some other modules or other details, but uh, from which, who would maintain these calendars and all. But let's say in certain projects, what happens is you will not have some modules, and they would expect some of the, let's say, not the senior consultants, some of the consultants in SD or MM, they would say, okay, you create your own, let's say, calendar, and they will give the list of holidays and all. Then they may expect some people to create some calendars as well for, by us. So at that time, you just need to know it, saying, because in generally in some of the projects we also give it to some people whenever we get some whenever there are no resources that are rightly available. So it's basically we just ask them to create. So there you can create your own festivals, or the, everything that would be defined here in your public holiday. Then you assign your public holiday to your holiday calendar. You can go here, create your own calendar, something ZZ, uh, you know, something maybe for plant TS1. I would say this is my. Then you click on assign holiday. Then you will get all the list of holidays that you have selected above. Maybe I would just created above. I'll select Independence Day, Gandhi Jayanti, okay, holiday Diwali or Gandhi Jayanti, Indian Labor Day, something like that. I'll take 4. Then click on assign public holiday. Then this would be assigned here. Then there'll be validity of those holiday that would be there. It should be fine. Then save your holiday calendar. So this will define what are all your holidays that you have in that particular plant, for that particular plant, or for that location that you will have. So there will be some public holiday calendar that you can define it. Then click on this factory calendar. Factory calendar is where the work days of the people would be maintained. So maybe I'll define here my own factory calendar, ZZ, and I would say this is also for my plant. Then here you can assign the holiday calendar that you have created. Okay, you select your holiday calendar that would be there. Press the calendar for TS1, whatever you have, it comes here. Then you will define your work days. Okay, when will these people work on? They'll work on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, and Saturday, Sunday, and public holidays is a holiday for them. Or if in case if they work even on a Saturday, then you select your Saturday as well for them. Then you save your factory calendar. Once this factory calendar is saved, this factory calendar can be assigned to your plant or your sales organization, whatever it is what you're defining. So whenever the delivery dates gets calculated, right, because here your let's say someone is placing an order on Saturday or Friday late evening, so system knows there are no people in this particular factory who would be working on a Saturday and Sunday and public holidays, so there are no activities that would be taken place. So the next delivery confirmation day will be Monday. Again on Monday, it will say, okay, there is a pick pack of one day, there is a packing, there is a loading of one day. So it will say the Wednesday would be the next available confirmed date for the for the customer to deliver the goods. So factory calendar is also one of, based on the factory calendar also, system will determine by when the by when it can be delivered. If in case if it's a holiday and all, because if there is no factory calendar that would be defined, if there are no holidays that are defined here, then system will not consider, will take all the 7 days, and it can propose the next day as well as a delivery if in case the pick pack and loading is not there. But if you define this work days and all, then system will know, okay, by when how do how they have to create it, and so on and so forth. Basically you will be knowing it, the work days of that plant or a sales organization, and by system would also propose the next best day that would be possible for the delivery process. Okay, all right. So this is about the factory calendar that you can define. There are certain things called special rules and all, where you can define another rules. We will talk about it in detail. It's not you have some other rules of defining factory calendar. I will talk about this mainly during the project. By when will we use the special rules? At this point of time, we don't need to know in detail about the special rules, but we will talk when we come to the project, not at this point of time. So what will be the use of this special rules? How do we use them and all? At the moment, you can define some factory calendar, you can define your holiday list, then create your holiday calendar, create your factory calendar, assign your holiday calendar to your factory calendar, and define your work days. So based on this, system will know, okay, which are all days they are working, by when it can propose or something. And the same factory calendar, you will have to, if in case the factory calendar is separate for your plant, your shipping point, your sales organization and all, then you will have to define separate calendars for, I mean, if it has a separate work days, if it has separate, let's say, uh, separate rules or separate holidays and everything, then you have to define them separately and come back to your definition wherever you have, if in case if it's for a plant, define copy plant. So define plant, and we have oh my goodness, someone deleted plants. Shit, man. It was just now, it was there. I don't know who deleted it. Okay, in this demo system, people are okay. Anyway, forget it. So let's go inside. So here you will assign that particular factory calendar that you would, if in case, let's imagine this is your plant, then you'll assign your factory calendar that you have created now, so that would be taken into consideration whenever you do it. Yeah, this is not my plant, so I don't want to save it, and my plant and everything that I have created, someone has deleted it. Okay, but I'll again create it and work on it later. Okay, clear on the clear on this particular part as well? How do you define your factory calendar and assign it? Okay, so if in case this enterprise structure is clear for you, the next chapter that we will be talking now is something called a master data. We'll start with this something called a master data in SD, but we'll continue more in the coming sessions as well. So basically, let's say in SAP, whenever you're defining some data that you will have, so you will have basically an enterprise data that would be maintained. Then you have something called a here we have mentioned here, we have I'll give master data. Okay, So here we were talking about we will have something called configuration and customizing data. Then we will have something called a master data, then a transaction data that you will have. So configuration and customizing data, organizational structure is one of the configuration data that you will have in the system. Organizational structure is basically your physical, I mean, your virtual representation of your company in the system, based on the number of plants you have, based on your company address, based on your shipping point that you have. So whatever you have physically, the process that you have, you virtually load it in your system and you set up your organization that is there. And now in this organization there will be kind of different data that would be there, like, in order for you to perform your business, you will have something called master data and the transaction data. We will first talk about master data. What is a master data? Basically, master data is nothing but the data that does not change very frequently or often. So it would remain constant for a certain period of time is called as a master data. Which means, for example, you have your customer. Okay, the customer has his name, his address, or his email ID or his telephone number. These are all the data that does not change on every transaction. Every day it does not change. It will remain constant for a certain period of time. The customer will not be changing his email address like every one day. It will remain constant for at least for maybe for an year or 2 years, or it may be remain constant forever. And there is his telephone number, which will again be the same. His name, his address, which will remain constant for a certain period of time, which will not be changing like every time. So it would be there. So these kind of data that does not change often. For example, your material number is there. You have certain materials. Those materials have their weight, their certain characteristics, the material code that you maintain against a particular material. All this will not change much. It would remain constant. The data would remain constant there. It will not change based on every day or based on every transaction and all. So those data that does not change often and would remain constant is known as your master data. So the reason why we will use this master data is in order to avoid, in order to save some time. For example, you're creating your sales order, you're creating your deliveries. So every time, uh, while creating an order, if you want to enter an address, for example, whenever you're buying something from Amazon or something, like whenever you wanted to buy it, every time you have to fill your shipping address, your name, your account details or your telephone number, then it's not a right way, right? So there's already a profile for you, there's already a data that gets saved. So based on that data, by default system would propose, okay, this is your name, this is your email address, this is your telephone number, this is your, and everything, like by default it would be there. But sometimes if you want to change, you will change, okay, instead of shipping here, you ship to some other address, and that would also be again a data that will already saved. So maybe in a very rare case scenario, you will have to change the details that are there in your by default that would be there. So every transaction you don't need to change that particular data, like so those data which does not change very often is known as a master data. That would be there. Again, transaction data is again like today you wanted to, today the customer order a particular product A, tomorrow he'll order another product called B or a C. He can, based on every transaction the data would change based on his need that is there. So that is not known as a master data. So again, in that transaction data, you will master data as a reference, like the moment you enter your customer code, you will be able to fetch all the address details, his email ID, his telephone number, and everything. It will be fetched automatically by the system. The moment you enter your material, you will know by when the material will be delivered, by when it would be there. So every data would be directly fetched from your master data and would be given in your transaction data, like whenever you're creating. So these kind of data that does not change much is known as a master data that you will have. So basically, what are all the different kind of master data that we have in a system? I mean, we have many other master data. We will talk about them, but by default, you will have something called a customer master. Okay, then you have something called a material master. Then you have something called CMIR. It's nothing but customer material info record. Okay, we'll talk about it, what is customer material info record later. Then you have something called conditions master. Apart from this as well, we will have but it can be broadly classified. In SD we will have something called a customer master, material master, condition material info record, okay, and something called a condition master that you will have. Okay, there are different kind of master data that would be there. So customer master, it will contain all the details of the customers. Material master will contain the details of all the materials. Customer material info record will contain details specific to a particular customer and to a particular material. Then condition master is again, you will have other master data, something like pricing, output, text, and so on and so forth. There are many other master data that are there, but we will cover them during its respective topics. Whenever we come to output master, we'll talk about how the conditions are used. When we come to the text master, we'll talk about them. When we come to the material determination, when we come to those respective topics, we will talk in detail about them. But at the moment, you can just say it's broadly into these four categories, the master data that we will have. Okay, and the first master data that we have here is the customer master data. So customer master data, we will be discussing in detail, like what is what are all the fields that we have in the customer master, what it is there. So a customer master data is again the data that is related to a particular customer. So a customer will have his own address, he will have his own bank details, he will have his own shipping instructions that he need to give, and we will also maintain what kind of a customer is he. Is he, let's say, a high priority customer, a low priority customer? So something like that, we would be maintaining different details. What is his country, what is his tax code, and everything that we will be discussing mainly on the customer master. So but at the moment, but what we will just discuss is only, like whenever you create a customer master, is an integration topic, like it is maintained between SD and FI. Okay, SD and FI will maintain the customer master. So we have certain details that we will be maintaining, FI has their own details that they will be maintaining in the customer master. Okay, it's an integration topic that will be maintained. So in a customer master, we basically have three different kind of data, which is general data, then we have something called company code data, and we have something called sales data. So general data is kind of a, it's between SD and FI. It's kind of a data that we will be maintaining together, but mostly by us we will be maintaining. And sales data is something that we will be maintaining by the SD guys, and company code data will be maintained by the FI guys. Okay, so a general data, it's like a common data that is that is specific to all, to the data that belongs to customer, that is generic across all the sales organizations, and all the company codes as well. So the data, for example, if in case he is there in different company code or different sales area, his name does not change or his email ID does not change, so it will remain constant. It is common for everything. But there are some data that are specific to a particular company code. Whenever he is placing an order using a company code, then the bank details are different, or might be like the processing is different. FI will have their own data. Similarly, SD, we will also maintain some sales specific data for us. We will see them, but you can actually broadly classify into these three categories that we will have. Okay, a general data, uh, company code data, and the sales area data. Like in SAP, if I go to, we have actually a transaction code called, okay, let me just log into, XD01, I will just log in at the moment. So we have, let's say, whenever okay, whenever, let's say, a salesperson needs to create a customer, then we maintain something called VD01. VD01 is a transaction code that we maintain to create a customer in only sales area specific. If you can see here in sales area, sales organization, distribution channel division, you have. So we use a transaction code called VD01, okay, to create. VD02 is to change, VD03 is to display. So create, change, and display. So whenever you wanted to create certain things, you use this VD01, you create. We will see how do we create in tomorrow's class. We create it, then in order to, if in case already you have created a customer, you wanted to change it, then you go to VD02, this particular transaction code, and you can change it. And if you want to just to display, then you will use VD03. Similarly, this is by SD. If in case FI wants to create their own master data that they have, so they will be using, if in case if it's FI that is creating, then they'll be using what is the transaction code that they will have? VDFD, yeah, FD01, FD02, FD03. See here, when you enter in VD, you had sales area that was appearing, but when you enter FD01, then you'll have only company code data that is coming. There is no sales area data that would come. Okay, so they use FD01, FD02, FD03. But in this is from a business point of view as well, because master data is again maintained by business, but maybe initial load we will help for them, but it's mainly from the business that they do. And if in case we wanted to maintain centrally, maybe both if you want to maintain okay, if you want to maintain centrally, then you use something called XD01, XD02, and XD03. So when you use this XD01 or XD02 or XD03, XD01, you can see here both my company code details also coming, my sales area details are also coming. So you will maintain them. Okay, so at the moment, just remember these three that we will be having, that we have, but we will talk in much more details. Whenever you're creating this master data, you have something called an account group that comes into the picture. What is this account group? Once you create your I would say TS1 11, somehow my data is again, I don't know if I think someone has deleted certain details, I don't know. TS1, let me just quickly, we'll just stop in 2 minutes, just so I'll just quickly enter this just to see some generic data, then we'll just stop for the day, but we'll talk in detail in tomorrow's class. I'll just go in SPRO, just go in enterprise structure. I wanted to see what was the assignment that I have done. Sales and distribution, set up sales area. I'll go to position, click on my TES1 is my sales organization. Okay, TES1 is not somehow deleted it. Okay, I'll use TES3 MY and YM. TES3 MY YM. Okay. It's okay. I'll use a standard one only. Okay, account group is also deleted, I guess. Oh, because now someone is actually playing with different ones. Maybe I'll try to take something, but at this moment, but we'll create our own account group and all. We'll see. So whenever you enter it, here you have, this is your generic data that would be there. you enter the customer name. We will talk about it in detail. We'll not, don't worry. I'm just giving some random values at the moment, because tomorrow we'll again create it. Something I'm just giving some details of a customer. Then whenever you wanted to enter your sales area data, click on the sales area data. Then you will have our own sales related data that will be there here: sales, shipping related data, billing related data. These are all. And why is this mandatory? How do you make it mandatory? How do you make it optional? Okay, all this we'll also see. Where is the control that is there? I'm not saving it, I'm just giving you details, just very high level overview, just to explain. Then I mean, we'll talk about all these fields, don't worry. But we're just talking about what is this partner function, what is SPB, PPY, SH, what does it mean, what do you maintain in the sales area data, what do you maintain in these guys now, something and all, they do it. Okay, so what are all the options that we have? We will discuss more. So you will have basically this general data, company code data, and the sales area data. What is that we will maintain, and everything we'll create for our own, and we will we will see in tomorrow's class. At the moment, I'm just giving a very high level. So this is a general data. General data, you'll have address, control data, all this related to the customer, his bank account details, his unloading points, whenever we say where to unload his goods, if there are some contact persons for him, all these details that we will maintain, with this generic across all the sales organizations that we will have. Then because we did not select the company code outside, you're not able to see a company code tab that is appearing here. But when you in your whenever we enter here, if you also maintain your company code, which is okay, I don't remember it, TECH or something that we have maintained. Okay, there is something that we are maintaining, guys. Anyway, when we create it, we will see it. Not very important at this point of time. So whenever you see here, you will get also company code data that is displaying here. Okay, but we will see in details about all this from tomorrow's class. So because for me, it is very important for you to understand the different fields, in this customer master and material master, because we will go through, most of the fields that are there, because then later point of time it will be useful for you whenever you're running the actual business scenarios to understand. If you try to understand the different fields that are here, mainly related to our sales details, sales area details, then it would be much more easier for you, during your projects, to whenever there's a requirement to say, okay, where you have certain settings and all to do it. So we'll spend some time on these master data topics, then we will go to the actual transaction that would be there. Then it would be much more easier for you. Okay, we'll spend some time on this customer master and material master and CMIR, maybe for maybe this week, and also hopefully half of next week, or till end of next week, I think, because we would need to know them in detail. Post which we'll again go to our actual transactions and everything that would be there. Okay, because again, vendor master is part of your MM, so basically that you need. It's on the material management side, is what for us, how customers from an MM point of view, they have something called a vendor master. So vendor master is nothing but, from where you're procuring, you maintain the details of the data. Like similarly, how we have our own fields, they have their own fields, and they have separate transaction codes. We use something called XD01, XD02, XD. Some way they have something called XK01, XK02, and all. So basically there we will be talking about some vendor master as well when we come to the stock transport order scenario, as well as whenever we have intercompany stock transport order scenario, as well as something with the third party scenario that we have, we will create it. But we will not try to go in depth about the vendor master here. For an SD guy, it's not that important. But yes, we will also cover, when we come to that particular topic on how the MM guys will create a vendor master and all, how do they maintain it and all. But it's mainly part of the MM that they will have. But we will also cover it because we don't have any MM consultants here. So we will also cover it because we will have to run through a scenario called STO, stock transport order, and third party process. So we'll also see that during that time.